And we saw today two sides very low on confidence, two sides that are fighting for very different things. Both really didn't deserve to win it. You can't make a case for us, can't really make a case for them. I thought a draw was a fair result. And you saw how fragile both were. When we conceded the first goal, we couldn't really get into our stride. Once we scored our first goal, you saw them, how fragile they were. And then, we get the second, and somehow they managed, and then the game was, neither side deserved to win it. They're in a big fight. We'll be here next season, thank God, but they're in a big fight for their lives.
It is three tough ones. Zach mentioned them there. Manchester City here next weekend. Gulp. Man United midweeker on a Thursday, and then sorry, Manchester City not here. Manchester City, are they here?
At the Etihad.
The Etihad, sorry, yes. So going mad. Oh, that's good, because we haven't been there enough this season.
No, that's right, that's
had
right.
Enough of that.
Yeah,
absolutely had enough of that.
Yet to score against them this season, yet to win, of course. Some work to be done in Manchester, that's for sure.
So 2-2 the final score here. Goals almost everywhere today.
Here at Stamford Bridge, a crucial
and we're
point
just
for
hearing, let's get rid of that, just hearing a little bit of Taiwo Awoniyi, who is up to 8 goals for this season. I mean, one was an absolute, well, are we calling them both gifts?
I think
both his goals? I mean, certainly the first.
First one,
yeah,
yes.
certainly the first. Even the second one comes from sloppy defending, I think, slightly. It's frustrating, but it is what it is.
It is another draw. That is 11 of them this season, to go with 20 defeats. I can't believe I'm saying that. And 16 wins out of the 47 games played. But at home, it's not been so bad for a while, and then it's got a little bit worse. It's now 9-7-7. Those are not numbers you expect. That's wins, draws and losses, Zach. I mean, 9 wins. Look, it's 7-7.
It's definitely not what we expect of Chelsea, especially a Chelsea side that spent so much money in the transfer windows. I think these next couple of games are all about players showcasing what they've got for the next person that's in charge, and that they want to be part of this club and this project. And if they can do that, I mean, look, if you can do that against Man City, Man United, Newcastle United, you're putting yourself in good stead for next season.
Well, they certainly upped it in the second half here. We'd like to see more of that next time out, and we're going to need to see more of that next time out. And maybe the slightly more glamorous games will bring that, and they are certainly glamorous. From Zach and Ben and Jason, it is goodbye, and thanks for being with us as we go back down there, I think, to Joe.
Cheers, boys. Thank you very much to Jason, Ben and Zach up in the gantry for the second half. Yeah, full time here at Stamford Bridge. Finished 2-2 done. Let's start with the positives. A great game of football and good atmosphere inside Stamford Bridge.
Yeah,
unfortunately, didn't end our way.
It had the feeling that it was going to be kind of an exciting game. I think I asked for it, actually. I said, just give us something fun. We got it. We didn't get 3 points. But again, we showed a lot. We showed signs. The game did kind of spring into life in the second half. Sterling with 2 goals. It was a great response after going. We actually performed far better after going a goal down than we did before. Started to probe. We had enough chances to win that game. Wasn't to be, but again, promising signs. I know we're probably sick of saying it, but promising signs.
Absolutely, yeah. Let's start with one of those. Obviously, 2 goals for Raheem Sterling today. The second goal especially is just stereotypical Raheem Sterling goal. The composure to take a second touch, take a third touch, open the goal up and whip it in the far corner. That's exactly what we've seen him do time and time again for England and Man City.
Well, I'm not sure how many shots he had today, but I would guess, I only remember him having 2 and scoring both. I get quite frustrated with us when we get into shooting positions and places where we kind of could pull the trigger and we don't shoot, because, you know, I mean, the second goal is, I'm not going to say it's a worldie, but it's a very good goal. The keeper's not going to get very close to it. It's in a flash. It's past him in a flash. And I thought it was a very good goal. And I think we worked our way into those kind of positions quite a few times today and didn't shoot. Not Sterling in particular, but Madueke did a couple of times where maybe he played a pass. And sometimes I want to see forwards maybe be a little bit more selfish. Regardless of if you're a winger or whatever it is, pull the trigger. Keep defenders honest. Keep the goalie guessing, you know. And what's the worst that can happen? You drag it. But sometimes when you don't take that risk, I feel like the fans shout, shoot, you don't shoot. And all of a sudden, everyone's just like, oh. But today was a day where I felt like we showed positive signs again. I thought Sterling was good.
It's the old Antonio Rudiger thing, isn't it? Where if the crowd think you're going to shoot at least once from 40 yards a game, the goalkeeper thinks that as well. And then all of a sudden it becomes a little bit of a pretense of, is he going to shoot on this occasion? It does. It keeps you alert, keeps you guessing, and also makes another option, because sometimes when you step out and you haven't got that threat, it's just another passive
I think it's even better for when it's Rudiger, he's shooting from 50-odd yards. But you still have to take it seriously.
You do, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's even more dangerous and better for a winger to do it, because you're in those positions far more often. And we all know that wingers love a chop. They want to chop the defenders time and time again into oblivion. They want them chopped out, completely finished. But if you do take a shot, it means that when you are going to chop eventually, the defender has to take the shot seriously, because you've shot last time, you know, and he has to really commit to blocking that. Sometimes I feel like we are a little bit predictable with how many chops we're doing. But again, you know, this is just stuff that you learn, and sometimes you just need someone in your ear saying, shoot. You know, you're either going to hit top bins, or you're probably going to buy yourself some leeway for the next time you're up against that defender one-on-one.
Absolutely. Let's have a little chat about Thiago Silva, because I know we could do a show every single week, 2, 3, 4 hours, about how much we love him and how brilliant he is. But before the game today, you'll have seen on social media, if you haven't already, check out Chelsea's Twitter account, at Chelsea FC on Twitter or on Instagram as well. There's pictures up, one in the Matthew Harding lower, and then one in the right-hand side of the shed. I can't work out if that's east or west side of the shed before the game. Big Brazilian flag behind the Thiago Silva mural on this side. Then on that side, it came from PSG to win the Champions League, and Thiago Silva lifting the Champions League trophy aloft. He seemed really moved by it, and obviously always gets such an amazing reception. Yeah. Little tap of the badge, 1 or 2 round of applause, but you could see how much it meant to him and how much he means to this football club. Yeah,
100%. You know, another great performance from him. How many times, you know, has he just almost defied physics, law, gravity, everything. You know, he finds a way to get better with age. Again today, you know, he hasn't been there long, and let's be honest, he's become a legend. He is that good of a player. We can't let him go to Brazil. I know we're hearing the whispers. We can't let him go. I'm sorry, mate. You still got a couple years left at the bridge, because it's not time. If you're honest, you know, like this is the best and most competitive league in the world. This is where you prove yourself, and yet again, Thiago Silva proves that he is one of the league's best defenders. You don't want to go. You don't want to go over there just yet. You've got your whole life to go back over there.
I had a chat with a friend of mine, a non-supporting Chelsea friend of mine, a couple of days ago, and he said, "How long's Thiago Silva been there? What, 6, 7 years now?" I was like, "No, it's like 3 or 4." And he's like, "Really?" Because he's had that much of an impact, and he has a legacy at Chelsea already. And like you said, sometimes players can be here 10, 15 years. What he has done in such a short space of time, the cult hero status he's got, is because Chelsea fans recognise, even at the age he is, you know, he looks like he can go on for forever, and he's one of the best players in the world.
He's just too clever. I think he's a step ahead playing chess when other people are playing checkers. It's about almost understanding, oh, there he is. Almost understanding what maybe he can't do. I'm not sure if there is anything he can't do, but he seems to always get his decision-making bang on. Whether a ball's flying at him 60 miles an hour and he manages to pluck it out of the sky or knock it down with a head, or whatever he does, it seems to have a certain amount of elegance to it, a certain amount of but he's also a very clever, at times crude defender, because he knows when to leave his body there and when to take a yellow and when to do the nasty stuff as well. He's the perfect defender.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely agree. And we are joined as well by the third of our trio. Mate, we were just having a little loving about Thiago Silva, to be honest, the last few minutes. Just how important he's been to this football club, how important he is, and also how nice it was, the 2 murals before the game, the 2 banners.
Me and you kind of we were like kind of keeping an eye on what he was going to do and how he'd be. And he was really, really... I don't know. I don't know if he was maybe emotional. We couldn't see that, but like he kind of took him back a little bit. It was really nice, I thought. And he kind of spent the entire pre-game just kind of clapping everybody, being like both sides. Obviously, it was really, really nice. And I mean, we spoke about him a million times on this show, and for Chelsea, and probably with our mates and so on and so forth. Like, I don't think he expected his time here to go as it went, so well and so positively. Like maybe, and obviously I don't want to speak to him, but you think maybe he would have come and thought, okay, a year or two here, try out English football, especially when there's all that talk as well before about he wouldn't be suited to English football, the
toughest league in the world,
dominance, all this,
exactly,
all this kind of stuff. 36 years old, and he was incredible. I was lucky enough to speak to Jody Morris a couple of weeks ago, and he was just like, when he came in, he was incredible. Like, he took it so seriously. Obviously, he's a professional footballer, but to the point as well of, like, I think one of the first things, he couldn't play in like a game, but he went to go and watch the game. He wanted to talk to Frank and Jody about how they wanted to play their football and how he could be of service to do that. I think he's a guy that is a master of the game, and honestly, wouldn't shock me if he becomes a manager. It really wouldn't at all.
You can see that, can't you?
Yeah.
You can see that approach in him. That, like, there's a couple of players within the dressing room. We speak about Aspi being the same, but there's a couple of players within there. Whoever the new manager is coming in at any point, to have players like Aspi, for Thiago Silva, for that transition for when they come in, to have players like that are already instilled in the dressing room to set the tone, set the example, that must be invaluable.
I think it's the most important part of any transitional period, to have your senior players, because it's almost as if they're ready-made managers already. Like they are
like player assistant managers. Almost.
Yeah, that's it. They are. They literally are. They are very important because they understand what it takes mentally to be at the very top. They understand what it takes in order to whip the younger, kind of more energetic players into shape. And sometimes you need, not necessarily a father figure, but somebody who's going to take things seriously all the time. We see Aspi when he's out, even in a warm-up, he's going at 99%, and sometimes you need it because it lets everybody else understand the seriousness of what actually is happening here. Let's be honest, like we're all privileged to even just be here, but as a footballer, to be able to play for Chelsea, the pinnacle of the sport, one of the biggest teams in the world, you have to take it seriously. It is fun and games, and so it should be as football, and you get to express yourself. But this is serious business. It doesn't get better than this. So in order to stay here, got to work hard. Listen to Thiago, listen to Aspi, listen to whatever coach comes in, and you stay at the top.
Absolutely right. Boys, brilliant so far. Let's have a little look at what's coming up on the fifth stand-up then. Over the next few days for you, of course, there's still a few games to go in the Premier League season. A couple of big ones as well, which we need to make sure that we absolutely finish the season as far in form as we possibly can. Frank Lampard will speak to the press on Friday afternoon ahead of a massive trip away to the Etihad, and potential champions in waiting, the current Premier League champions, of course, as well, in Manchester City. Little word on Man City then, Zach, next week, because I think Ben, Jason, and you mentioned at the end there, it's a very different task, a very different sort of layout, isn't it, for that? So
it's incredible to see where kind of us and Man City were neck and neck about a year and a half ago, and how different it's gone. And they are looking elite in every single game. This is what Man City do. They get to this period of the season and they just buckle down. They just show why they are so good. They go on a 15-10 game winning rate game streak and just look elite. And when you've got the likes of Erling Haaland up top, with Riyad Mahrez on the wing, and so all these superstars that are playing for them, you've got to be aware. And it's going to be a different game. It's going to be a very different game to this. They're going to be fighting for something. They want 3 points. They want 3 points. They want to score as many goals as possible. And we have to go there and try and stop that.
Are you going next week to Man City? I just need to know if I need to take Haaland out of my dream team, out of my fantasy team. Because if you're in attendance, I know that you've got.
Planning on going, but now you've.
Might be taken for the team here, Dan.
I might go.
You'll have to go to Manchester.
I might go. We know he doesn't love
you.
Yeah, he doesn't love seeing me. But I'll be honest, the form they're in right now, we've just got to go there and try and almost do a similar job that Forest have done here today. Get whatever you can. Be smart. Their tails are up. These are must-win games for them. And somehow Pep's really got them. I'm not sure what Pep's saying in that change room, but he's got them going.
Yeah.
They'll be very ready to play us. It's not the same as it was 18 months ago when we fancied ourselves playing them every single time. I really would have loved to play them every week at that point. It's not the same now. But we are still Chelsea, and we can still... I'm not going to get carried away. But let's just see what happens.
Yeah, I like it. Right, before we go, boys, before we go, we have got trivia to sort out. So we had a question pre-game. If you were watching, then you might have been playing along, might have been waiting on the answer to this one. So who scored our last home Premier League goal versus Nottingham Forest in September 1998? So Robbie Di Matteo was the shout that you said earlier, Dan. I think that's a good shout. I think it's around about the right time. I mean, only because I've seen him post about the recent game, and it jumped into my head. Torre Andre Flows around about that time as well.
Great shout.
Michael Dewberry
McAdoober's in the, was that in the picture?
I think so.
I'm not going to fall for that.
No.
I like Andre Flo.
Yeah?
I like Andre Flo. I like...
Shall we put a third one in just in case?
Yeah, go on then. We'll edge our bets. We'll go Di Matteo, Flo, or...
I said Jody.
Dennis Wise.
Okay.
Dennis Wise, yeah.
We'll have any of those.
Yeah.
We'll have any of those at the moment.
All
Okay.
11 players.
Let's have a little look at the answer then. Let's see what we got. Gus Poyet.
Not any of the names you mentioned, but probably should have mentioned, to be quite honest.
Well, Gus Poyet.
What a guy. What a guy.
Great
Scored
guy.
a lot of goals as well.
Yeah,
so.
of course it was. Oh, disappointed with that. But we go again, boys. Chin up, we go again next week. Brilliant as always. Thank you very much. One word to sum up today's game.
Lively.
Lively. Dan?
Fun.
Okay, good work, boys. Good work, boys. Thank you very much for watching. Unfortunately, it wasn't 3 points that we were so hoping for, but a good game of football here at Stamford Bridge. It finished all square. Chelsea 2, Nottingham Forest 2. Next Sunday, we're away at the Etihad for Manchester City. Like Dan said, it's Chelsea. Never write us off. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.